she could envision different career opportunities for herself that she had never seen before. And that's why I keep coming back, is when you see that you can help students find their place, where they want to be. It's awesome. I mean, it's really amazing.
Welcome to the Joint STEM Initiative podcast produced by Queen City Robotics Alliance. Now here's your host, Kaiwen Chen.
Bosch, a global Fortune 500 company, has invested in the FIRST Robotics Program for the past 20 years. We know a company like Bosch won't invest in something without a good return. So what is the secret that makes Bosch continue investing in FIRST Robotics Program and grow more teams in Bosch communities? To understand this, I got an opportunity to talk with Susan Tippy to figure out what the secret is. Susan is an engineering manager for Bosch. She also has been a long-time FIRST volunteer. She touches on how investing in FIRST helps to develop talent for Bosch and improve the engagement. Talent and employee engagement happens to be something many companies want to improve. I wonder if maybe more companies should join the movement. Let's take a listen.
My name is Susan Tippy. I'm an engineering manager for Robert Bosch LLC, but I'm also the chairperson of our Bosch FIRST strategy team. So this is a nationwide group of Bosch associates who are working with FIRST volunteers in their local community. Bosch has been involved with FIRST for over 20 years. So our first team was a team in Charleston, South Carolina, team number 342. And they were the first team. And from there, we have expanded and grown to other locations in which Bosch has a business presence. So he started with about 20 teams. They were located in these different regions where Bosch has locations. And then we changed a funding model to fund our associates' interactions with those teams, their volunteer efforts. And that really expanded our growth to over 100 teams within North America. So from a top-down perspective, we look for STEM-related programs to invest in from our corporate social responsibility group and also the Bosch Community Fund. And both of those groups are looking to invest in the future. And we do that, quite honestly, to fill our talent pipeline. We need students with STEM skills to be the future technicians and engineers and business managers of the future. So on the other hand, I think our growth of teams has come more from a bottom up, because that's how we got the large growth from the original 20 teams that were located at our different locations around the country. We constantly had associates coming back to us and saying, I volunteer at my son's school or at my daughter's school. Can Bosch sponsor me? We changed our funding away from a team funding to an associate funding. So we support our associates' volunteer activities. It gave us a twofold benefit. One, it expanded our reach in FIRST around North America. And then secondly, it also funds the initiatives that our associates are passionate about. Our associates also learn because it gives them a chance sometimes to practice some of these skills, outside the business environment. What it really does then is it helps us build a relationship with students that then we can follow through whatever their next post-high school training is, whether that's a technical school, whether that's a college, university, whatever.
So why Bosch interested in investing in FIRST program?
So FIRST Robotics values and Bosch values are very, very similar. We're looking for improvements in society and for the world in general. And FIRST is doing that to inspire students to get into STEM activities or to join STEM careers. For Bosch, we are a major consumer of the students that come from the STEM careers. To fuel our growth, we need students that have these skills and what we would call 21st century skills. So not only do we get the STEM skills, but we also get things like leadership, confidence, and the ability to speak in front of an audience, program management. And another good one is conflict resolution. The students that come to us with FIRST experience, they have all of these skills, and they're easier to plug into certain positions within, our Bosch family. We've got a couple of cases, a few cases of FIRST students who have then come to be Bosch associates. One of them was a personal interest of our senior vice president of HR, and he developed a relationship with this one person. We'll call him Julian. He met with Julian when he was the awkward freshman, where they always come in and they're trying to find themselves. We kept working with Julian over time, and eventually Julian led the team at Lightning Robotics at FRC 862 in Plymouth, Michigan. And we stayed connected with him through the period that he was in college. But Julian was one of our first post high school robotics interns. And he came into Bosch in that summer between his high school senior when he graduated to his incoming freshman year. And he worked for the summer on FIRST programs. And in fact, he helped us develop our existing scholarship program. So he learned a lot of how to present to upper management and then also work on what I'll call more of a business side. Now, he's an engineer, but we stayed with him through his his college career, and he is now in our management trainee program and has actually just recently completed the graduate trainee program and is working in one of our calibration groups right now. That's one of the things I like about FIRST is it has the graduating programs, and I have seen benefits for my own teams when the incoming freshmen come from an FTC team or an FLL team. They already understand the basic process, and a lot of the program is a building block. So the students come already with experience, which is really helpful. What I see from a Bosch perspective is we do engage in our STEM outreach activities at the middle school level because that is a point where the students might still be confident, but then start to question some of their confidence. And when you can give them the experience with the technical concepts, and then they can see where they're going, where is the future state? It's not so far away.
That is very interesting. Bosch invests in their associates in FIRST program to foster and develop future talent, potentially to have a career at Bosch down the line. Bosch believes in FIRST giving practical experience in STEM fields where they otherwise would not, and Susan affirms Bosch values that experience. I then asked Susan to talk more about her experience as a volunteer and how she believes FIRST has impacted the youth and the mentors.
Yeah, in my opinion, the students come from the academic arena with a lot of, they have some hands-on and then they have a lot of what I'll call book knowledge. But FIRST gives them a chance to apply those skills to a real engineering problem. And, with the high school students, you always get into this, wow, our robot, our robot, our robot. Honestly, it's not about the robot. The robot is a tool to teach these skills. They can see what they've learned in school, with maybe electric circuits that they had in some science class. In these cases, they're actually applying those electrical circuit concepts into something that's hands-on, and they can see how it works. They can see how when it works and it works well. They can also see when it fails. And that's one of the things I really like about FIRST is I don't know about you, but I've learned more from my failures than I have, necessarily from some of my successes. And that's one of the things that I really like about FIRST is the fact that the students are encouraged to fail. And that's a similar mindset to we have at Bosch is we take our failures as learnings to improve for the future. When you go into college and you don't really know what you want to do, or you go into a technical school and you're not really sure what you want to do coming out of high school, and you're trying to figure it out. What I find is these first robotics students, they already kind of have it figured out because they've had those experiences in a high school setting. First is not just about a robot. The robot is a tool to teach the technical aspects and the business aspects. So it's a vehicle for their learnings. It's an application project, if you will. But the students learn presentation skills and program management and finances. They have to track expenses. They have to make decisions, which design are we going to go with? So they have to do a decision matrix. They have to do problem solving when things don't work right. They learn why mentors tell them to do things in a certain way, based on experience. Because if they don't, then if a failure happens, then they need to go fix it. Probably the most important is they gain a lot of confidence.
That's amazing. First teaches a student great hard skill. Could you talk about some of the soft skill you see student develop?
As a hiring manager, I always look for the first robotics experience on a student's resume because I know what the program is involved in. The kids get experience with the hands-on. If they're building, even if you're only doing first tech challenge, in high school, they still have to work with sensors and software and programming and problem solving and communication and presentation skills. These are all 21st century skills that all students need. And quite honestly, businesses need the students to have. So, with that, the students come with that experience that maybe you and I had to get in some other form. The first program also encourages not winning at all cost. So it teaches that whole teamwork element that I think you miss in some other like sports teams and things like that. The kids they realize that they're helping other teams, that maybe struggle with certain things or even asking for help on their own aspects. I mean, you're in the midst of a competition and something breaks. If you didn't happen to bring that component with you, the team will have to go out and then say, hey, I need, some piece of equipment or material or whatever. Many times there's another team that says, hey, I've got that here, you can have it. Seeing at the competitions, teams helping each other. You get some teams who their entire team is 9 students and they're building 120-pound robot. I mean, that's amazing. They struggle, they don't have quite the same resources. And then you get other teams that will come in and say, hey, I can help you with that. Have you tried this? Or they'll help them with their programming. And through the duration of the competition, you see these teams, the struggling teams, get better and better and better, which I think helps them also learn. Quite honestly, I'm inspired by the students when I work with them and you see how they get things. Like, for example, I started out, like many people, as a mentor on a team that my kids were on. And, what is this first? Well, you could see how the program went through the year. Then you go into the competitions. It's very exciting. but you really see the learning and the growth that these students get from the program. And eventually I became the lead mentor for that team. We were working with that team to help them develop some good business processes, so that they then had a very successful running team. And eventually, when I kind of wanted to step back a little bit, I took on working with the students on business plan. And we had very, very good successes on the business plan. What I found was the students you were talking about earlier, the difference between academic and business. And what I found with this team was initially they were writing a business plan like a research paper because that's the way they're taught in school. And in discussions with our leadership, they said, no, 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 this business plan is different. You need to get to the high points. You need an executive summary. And they helped coach me, quite honestly, through a much better, more succinct business plan. We took that business plan, went to a competition with our updated business plan, and we won the entrepreneurship award at a regional competition for the first time. The team was super excited about that because they hadn't really had very much experience with winning awards. And we kept refining and refining, and they kept getting better and better. And they started winning more awards. And eventually, we actually won Business Plan or the Entrepreneurship Award at the World Championship, which was amazing. So, but seeing the kids grow and they could then adapt from this research paper mindset that the schools teach them into things that business needs. What are your goals for your business? What's your finances? What's your organization structure? We went through all of that with the students. And quite honestly, it helped me grow as a manager because we do those things in business. So those are experiences that these first students can come to an employer with. I have another case where I was judging at Michigan State Championship. This was a few years ago. And there was a student there. I was judging with another judge for the Rookie Inspiration Award. And this is for first year teams. And one of my go-to questions was, how has FIRST changed you? Or what can you do now that you never thought you could do in the past? There was a girl that answered the question that made the other judge and it touched us so much we almost cried. Because she said with FIRST, she had the experiences now that she had never had the experiences in the past. She could envision different career opportunities for herself that she had never seen before. And that's why I keep coming back, is when you see that you can help students find their place, where they want to be. It's awesome. I mean, it's really amazing. This is the only program that I know of, or at least that I've been experienced with, where your kid can go pro. When you're in basketball or football, or there's a very few number of the students that are going to then rise to the ranks of being on the NBA or NHL or whatever. But in this program, your kids can definitely go pro with the experiences that they gain. But I would also say that the students get out of the program what they put into it. So if the student is very, very engaged, they gain these skills. You can get an impression that it is all about college prep, but we have experiences with one of our teams down in South Carolina where they are working with the local technical college. It's a trade school, and they work with FIRST students and bring them into a technical apprentice program. And they actually use some of the kit of parts elements of the FIRST Robotics kit to build like an assembly line. They're not college degreed. It's not a college degree program. And that's why I kept going back to it's post high school secondary education. Doesn't have to be college. It could be a technical school. It could be community college. Some kind of post-secondary certifications, I think, are probably where we're going from a future workforce. But it doesn't have to be a 4-year degree. We need people that are doing the hands-on work as well, because we all succeed together.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you learn more about FIRST Robotics and their program's goal to engage and develop students into STEM professionals. We also thank you to Susan Tippy for sharing her experience as a Bosch leader and the FIRST mentor. FIRST Robotics is able to function because the generous and active involvement of sponsors like Bosch worldwide. With over 11,000 teams just include FIRST Tech Challenge and the FIRST Robotic Competition at the middle and high school levels. Bosch and other key contributors play a massive role in FIRST team and enable them to positively impact the life of the students all around the globe. You can find more information in the description of this episode. This is your host, Kaiwan Chen, and Tyler Lewis edit and engineer this episode. We hope you enjoy and look forward to seeing you again next time.
This podcast is produced by Queen City Robotics Alliance with the support of Charlotte Area STEM Societies. Queen City Robotics Alliance, also known as QCRA, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose mission is to nurture the future workforce by providing practical, hands-on STEM experiences for area youth. QCRA is home for several high school and middle school robotics teams, where students learn how to run their team like running a business. Together, students develop outreach programs to spread STEM knowledge and training to encourage kids from all backgrounds to discover how to reach their full potential in STEM fields. QCRA is sustained by volunteers and sponsors like you, and we invite you to join us to help build a better future for all children in our community. Visit our website at queencityrobotics.org to learn more.